Whoa. I guess there was a game, football game. I think we were talking about it before, and it has now concluded. Super Bowl LIV, which upon Google searching after I initially saw it, I mean, obviously I'm an expert now, but it's 54. Super Bowl 54. It is. It's now over. It is complete, and I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, but the Kansas City Chiefs and the 49ers played each other, and spoiler alert, we're going to say who won, and by we, I mean David Tomchinsky. I almost call you Dave. Do people call you Dave? Is that what, I don't know.
You know, I am getting to that point in my life, like past college, early 20s, where people started calling me two things, Dave and Sir.
Sir, my
two
goodness.
Things that I never was called except for Dave. My sister would call me Dave. So I tweeted a couple years ago, like, when in my life am I supposed to introduce myself as Dave or start going by Dave? Because I don't think people who go by Dave now, like as adults, were they called Dave?
Yeah,
their whole life.
I don't know.
It'd be weird calling a kindergartner Dave.
Like I worked with a David, but I never once called him Dave. It's different.
No,
it's weird. Like
it's
if you
super.
I'm just going to keep
different.
calling you David, or I will get weird sometime, and I'll take the first letter of your last name, and I'll do something weird with your first, and I'll call you like Davey T,
That's
just
fine.
for fun, and that's how I roll. So, speaking of that, we had Patty M and Jimmy G, which actually people call him Jimmy G.
That is his name. Yeah,
That is his thing. They were the quarterbacks of obviously this football game, which we are going to eventually talk about. Here it is. We said spoiler alert. Kansas City Chiefs 31. San Francisco 49ers 20. Obviously, we set our picks in stone before this game, and I got to tell you, for a while there, I was feeling pretty good about my pick, which I was the only one out of all of us who picked the 49ers, and they showed me the reasons why I felt good about picking them up until about like the 6-minute mark of the football game, and obviously things kind of fell off the rails there. So, all you guys wound up picking the Kansas City Chiefs, and you got the proper Super Bowl MVP. Obviously, like we said, if the Chiefs won, I believe it was going to be Patrick Mahomes anyway. So let's just run through this game, what we watched, what we saw. Out the gate, right out the gate, obviously the Kansas City Chiefs got the football. They went 3 and out, and then the 49ers drove down, settled for a field goal, which is obviously, I felt like during that moment and during any moment in this playoffs, settling for field goals against the Kansas City Chiefs, never a good call.
Definitely not. No, I mean, because we'll obviously get to later on in
Yeah.
the game why that's a big reason.
They're pretty good.
They're going to score on you just like the Patriots have always been. You have to score a touchdown against them because the second they get that ball, the Chiefs are going to score a touchdown.
Yeah. So they did wound up scoring in the first quarter. They finished the first quarter. The Kansas City Chiefs were up 7-3. The defense looked really good, honestly, for both teams in the first quarter.
Yeah,
It was pretty good, and obviously there were a lot of jitters. I would assume. I don't like saying that, but like, for somebody like Patrick Mahomes, who's like probably the best quarterback in the league right now, and it's not even really a question. But to say he had jitters. He'd been through 2 interceptions in the game, and he didn't really look like elite level Patrick Mahomes. Again, I say this, forgetting about what happens at the very end of the game. For the majority of the football game, it was Patrick Mahomes and a Kansas City Chiefs offense unlike we've ever seen until, again, everything goes out the window whenever you wind up going to the end of the game and looking at the box score and the stats and who won MVP. But going into halftime, though, it was a tie game, 10-10 going into halftime. And what happened at the end of the half for the San Francisco 49ers was fascinating.
I'm glad you're bringing it up.
Yeah, you go.
It's impossible not to talk about this Super Bowl without that.
What did you see and what were you thinking when you saw the 49ers get the ball at the end of the half and do what they did?
So the funny thing is, I was watching the Super Bowl with my mother. And as much as I want to pay attention to the game, she was worried about the wings sitting out too long on our kitchen table. So I didn't get my full. I wasn't paying as close enough attention at the end of the second quarter as I'd like to. Excuse me, I have freaking horse in my throat.
How dare you, man?
I am like so sad that the Super Bowl football season is over. and my cough and cold is coming back.
That's fine. Well,
Excuse me
at least
for a
you
moment.
at least you made it through the season.
We did.
And now you're just going to fall apart. Like I have the
falling
little
apart,
sniffies myself, and
my mom's getting sick. Everybody's getting sick. My friend who watched the game with us is getting sick. Do we blame it on coronavirus?
I think we all have coronavirus. I think that's really at the end of the day. Football's gone now, so we're allowed. Our body's like, okay, it's coronavirus time. So yeah.
So back to the frog in my throat is gone.
Okay,
for
cool.
the time being. The no timeout is what you're talking about. The most puzzling move, probably. So I want you to take the floor on the kind of play-by-play, because I have now since gone back, listened to a few other podcasts, and watched. I mean, I was watching the game, but again, it's kind of like, oh, it's tie game. My mom's chatting in my ear. I'm like not fully like engulfed in that moment of the game.
For sure.
Like I said, I had to go watch it again.
So what had happened was at the end of the quarter, and it was, I believe it was under 2 minutes. They got the ball back. They did not. Well, they just the play before they got the ball back, they decided not to use a timeout before Kansas City was punting to them. So that was weird. And I was like, okay, I get it. You'll have all 3 timeouts and just over a minute to get down the field. That's pretty good. Either way, you got all 3 timeouts, so you can use the whole field. They get the ball and they essentially just say, F it. It's 10-10. We're in a good spot right now. Let's just get to halftime 10-10 and they were content with that, which is, to me, I understand where you're coming from if you're like, look, if we try to go for this and mess it up and we give them points before the half, we're in a really bad spot. So let's just get the ball coming out of the second half or out of halftime and start back up from there. But for the players on the field, they didn't want to do that. It just seems like a really odd decision for them to just kind of let off the gas. When you've saved those timeouts for a reason, why would you all of a sudden just decide, no? Like, I get it. If you didn't have any timeouts, run the ball, run the clock out, get out of there. Sure. Because the decisions that you made are going to be obviously a lot different. The defense is going to know what's going on. You're going to use the sidelines more. But when you have the whole field to play with, it doesn't make any sense. So they would run the ball, and they just let the clock run. And then I think they ran it again, or they did a little dump-off pass, and it went for
it was a dump-off pass.
Yeah, it went for pretty big yardage. And then they were like, oh, okay, maybe we shouldn't have done this. Maybe we should have actually tried. Then they drop back and they throw that pass to Kittle. Garoppolo throws the pass to Kittle. It looked awesome. Obviously, it would have given them a chance at 3 additional points going into half. There was an extension of the arm that was called offensive pass interference on Kittle, which, watching it live, I was like, that's ridiculous. But, again, in slow motion, you can find a penalty pretty much on every play.
Every analyst was saying that has been called.
Yeah. I wasn't
here.
Yeah.
It's not like let the boys play, because that's what somebody who I was watching with said. Like, come on, let them play a little bit. When we're watching it live, it's a little bit different. Then when they slow it down, everyone agreed. Like 10 out of 10 analysts were like, yep, it has to be a penalty.
Yeah, the first one, while it was in the air, he kind of got a little separation, sure. But then the second, he did it a second time.
Exactly.
Come on. Like, they probably were going to let it slide if he just didn't do it again. And honestly, he didn't have to. Like, he's a big enough guy. He could have just slowed up a little bit, and just use his back to kind of box him out. But that was a big blow for them. But
so
the biggest blow was not putting the pedal to the metal initially. You know what I mean? With all those timeouts.
My thing that I've been hearing, and what I thought was it was Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers not having any faith or trust in Jimmy G.
Yeah,
that's exactly what everybody's saying, and I agree with it. I can't find a way
that narrative
to dispute that.
Is going around quite a bit.
I don't. That's not my mindset ever.
No, I know,
but I can't deny that.
It's hard to get that. I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo's a bad quarterback, but after this game, and everything you're hearing, aside from this podcast, is Jimmy Garoppolo is trash. Like, he's a bottom half quarterback in the NFL, and he's not, like, you know what I mean? Like, he's a game manager. I saw that being thrown around. And just because their mentality has been, running the ball a little more, it's not Derrick Henry and the Titans type running the ball, but they do put a bigger focus on running the football because they have 3, pretty good running backs that can kind of rotate in and out. But I don't know. It seemed like every time Garoppolo dropped back to pass, the narrative was, well, he's just not going to be able to get it done. He's not able to do this. But out the gate, I mean, he threw a touchdown. He threw the first touchdown of the game.
Yeah. And
but
he was able to throw touchdowns all season.
yeah, he was not bad.
I mean, he was a gunslinger for better part of the season. A lot of the crazy games against Seattle. I mean, they were. I don't have their run statistics right in front of me for the entire season.
You didn't come prepared.
I need to be
fine.
I did not come prepared. Jimmy G and the 49ers, their pass to rush comparisons.
Yeah.
But with when they played against the Seahawks, I have to reference those games. And I mean, I'm sorry, Justin, they bulldozed your Packers twice.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, in the NFC Championships, he threw for 8 times, like total.
He didn't. Again, it's like Tannehill. Tannehill, I don't think is bad, and he was a good quarterback for a majority of the season, and he had big games as a quarterback. But all of a sudden, the playoffs start. And the mentalities shift where they're just like, let's just pound the rock. And now everybody thinks Tannehill sucks. And now everybody thinks Garoppolo sucks, which he doesn't suck. He's not. I don't think he sucks.
No, definitely
trust me. You, as a Jets fan, understand there's probably worse quarterbacks out there.
There are worse quarterbacks. I would take him in a heartbeat. I mean, I like Darnold.
Oh, Darnold's
good. A good future. But I'm saying I have lived through. Geno Smith is trash.
Yeah.
I'm very glad that I have that now specifically on record. I've never done a podcast where I mention Geno Smith.
Yeah, this is actually the first podcast ever Geno Smith's name has been uttered.
Name has been dropped.
I'm going to have to send him this audio.
Trash. Yeah. I'm sorry, Geno. He's too busy getting his jaw punched in the locker rooms.
I hate to see it.
Why? Jeez. Me and JJ got to split off and it's anger management. I was playing the drums earlier because I'm house sitting my wife's aunt's house and they have a drum set.
Yeah.
And so I'm getting my anger out and I need more. I need like a Jets Just Bash podcast.
You just put
all my frustration.
All the wasted quarterbacks that you have, like pictures on the drum set and just start banging their faces off.
Just bash them in.
Taken out of context, that sounds very horrible.
That sounds terrible. I'm not a violent person. I try to be but sports are different. And I do have to say, you mentioned jitters, and I know we're kind of bouncing around, and we haven't got to halftime yet.
It doesn't matter.
It's funny. There was really nothing to talk about in the first quarter, nothing to talk about in the better half of the second, until the last little spritz at the end.
Yeah.
What we're talking about now, but just overall the Super Bowl, I have to mention with the whole jitter thing. So they're like sports psychologists who the team hire, and the coaches and the players obviously do their normal routine. They try to treat it as a normal game. It's not though. So that's why like Mahomes was freaked out. He was missing passes. He threw those 2 interceptions. One of them was just straight to a linebacker that he didn't even notice. It's super uncharacteristic, and that's what's both insane and beautiful about the Super Bowl. It's like this is not a normal game at all. As much as we could try to pretend, like, yes, you have to go out and do the same job that you were doing in week 2 against the Dolphins or the Bengals, whoever, a team that you're going to smoke, but like you're doing the same actions, but it's so different. It's like me, I ran cross country in college, and the national cross country meet might as well have been a totally different sport.
Yeah.
My buddy fell, like busted his ass right in front of me. We're getting our people are putting their elbows in front of us. We had like a banquet the night before. We never had a banquet the night before. We went to Olive Garden. So everything is different. I'm talking D2 cross country compared to the Super Bowl. I'm not trying to compare.
They're about the same.
They're pretty relatively the same. But when you really look at the actual sport and and this kid's 24 years old, those Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, he has jitters. When he is playing football as a kid, he's not daydreaming about week 2 against the Dolphins. He's fantasizing about the Super Bowl. It comes with so much, so it's fascinating. And once he got the cobwebs out after the halftime, which is where we're going now.
Yeah. I will say
he got into sync.
Yeah, obviously the 2 weeks leading up to this game is just a mess. Like it's obviously the first week is just trying to get settled in. You're practicing, but it really is like it's such a weird. I was watching like behind the scenes on Radio Row, and like just the people and the weird stuff that just goes on there. Fans, celebrities. There are people at that game that you probably they couldn't even fathom that at some point you would see. I mean, in your life, but it's just fascinating, the aura around this game. I've never been to a Super Bowl, and based off the prices, I don't know that I ever will, unless I get some sort of media credentials for the chunk. But it is a fascinating beast. And you know what happened? I would like to say, I think the best thing that happened to Patrick Mahomes that really loosened him up, you know what I mean? That he came out in the second half a changed man. and that was Shakira and Jennifer Lopez writhing and just kind of setting the mood. It
I was
just
hoping you were gonna say that.
it was a little shake action, and that definitely changed. You know what? I'll send this to the NFL. I'll send them a letter. They start the game with the halftime show, and that'll get the players all loosened up because that vibe after that halftime show, it was a totally different game. It was so
100%.
People were relaxed. People were doing their thing. Start it with the halftime show. Actually, specifically, just bring Shakira and Jennifer Lopez
and
back.
J-Lo, just every
Every
Super
year.
Bowl, every single game.
Every
Just
game,
fly
they're
to
opening them
yeah,
up.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was
phenomenal. Oh my God.
It started off, and I was like, okay, it's Shakira. She's doing her thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's definitely Shakira now. You know what I mean? Like, if we're just going through this, and I was like, okay, now we're at full-blown Hips Don't Lie Shakira.
I love that
To the
song.
point where I almost, the song's fantastic, by the way, but to the point where I almost forgot Jennifer Lopez was going to be there, where I was like, are we going to have time for Jennifer Lopez? Like,
Yeah.
it was a lot of Shakira, and then Jennifer Lopez came on, and it was, and there was no eye in the home that I was in was not looking at the television. It was just like you couldn't look away, whether you were attracted to women or not. It was obviously just like you were just staring at the TV, fascinated by what was happening. And I will say the one disappointing thing, if I had to say, it was a great halftime show, probably the best in years. The one disappointing thing was I kept waiting for Ja Rule to pop up. I was
You
like,
were waiting on Ja Rule. I was waiting on Pitbull.
oh, Pitbull for sure. That was, but
That's a given.
you tease him. Ja Rule's somebody that you throw in as like a bonus, like for this one little song. Let me get Ja Rule in here, but
yeah.
Pitbull as like a throwaway toss in. It would have got people hyped up, but it would have been like overload, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Without
just
the
because
tease.
he's Mr. 305.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Miami's, it
They
just kind of goes hand in hand.
They would have stormed the
Latino
field.
vibe.
Yeah, everybody
Yeah,
would have
it
stormed the
would've been
field.
Wild. It would have just the game would have second half wouldn't have happened if Pitbull was there.
No.
Put
But
that in the books. Yeah.
yeah, my favorite thing was after the fact was seeing just everybody's reaction, like GIFs to what was happening and like their faces, the videos that were posted of just people who were watching it. Oh my God!
It was
So
pretty epic. Yeah,
you're-
the halftime show is always great for that.
yeah, so I guess if we had to rate it like out of 10, what do you think? And you can do halves. You know what I mean? Because I'm
Okay.
a big fan of the 0.5s. But
You're a decimal point guy.
yes,
Yeah.
for sure.
I will. Can I do other increments of decimals? Not
Do
just 5?
you do you, bro? That's fine. You can
Okay,
do fractions.
So I always 10 to me is U2 after 9/11. To me, just like emotional vibe, like
Yeah.
that. You can't really beat that. That's like the 10. So, but I will.
Also,
put
Janet
that
Jackson,
Shakira-
Timberlake. Come on. No.
That's got to be up there as well,
Just-
right? Yeah, that's. I mean,
It's iconic at
that's
this point, but-
legendary. Yeah, that's an infinity mark. It doesn't have.
Yeah.
It's not on the 10 scale. I would honestly go into the 9s. It has to be. I'd say 9.4
Okay, that's good. That's very.
on the halftime, the 2020 halftime show.
I was right there with you, man. I was gonna say 9.5. So
Mm-hmm.
we're in the same ballpark. It was. I don't even listen. I don't listen.
entertaining.
I don't listen to Jennifer Lopez. I don't listen to Shakira. I happened to growing up see some of their music videos, and I was entertained to say the least. But my wife's a big fan of Jennifer Lopez, so when she came on, she was obviously hyped. She started with Jenny from the Block, which come on,
Which was pretty badass.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
that was pretty sweet. But overall, the halftime show, the only people who were knocking it were the Karens out there that were like, my son was watching this game, and this is not a family halftime show. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's,
and
yeah.
not to get political at
Oh,
all.
boy.
But
Oh,
those
boy.
same type of Karens, those same type of the Facebook peanut gallery, however you want to put it, are the same people that have been perfectly fine with the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders forever.
Hey, now.
So I don't know.
Hey, now.
Kind of. I don't know.
All right,
kind
this
of
one-
weird.
This one goes out to everybody who hated the halftime show. That's me shoehorning a sound effect in. But yeah, that's pretty much it. When I hear people that are like, I can't believe what
Come
I just
on.
saw. And I say, and there are other people out there, the other, millions of people who are watching it that said the same exact thing, but at a different inflection. We're like, I cannot believe
Right.
what is going on right now. This is awesome.
It's the I think of the meme. It's this dude like saying whatever, or it's like a cartoon character.
Yeah.
Just the mouth is like babbling, and it's just like it's like a comic book thing, and the someone else's hand just comes out of nowhere and grabs the lips and says, "Shh, let people enjoy things. Let people enjoy it."
Yes.
If your middle schooler discovered something new about his body on Sunday, okay.
I mean, it happens.
Whatever, boy, girl, whatever they are.
Yes.
It was beautiful. It was awesome. It was an amazing, entertaining halftime show.
I was about the same age when the Janet Jackson thing happened, and I was like, what did I just see? Like, I was trying to register what my eyeballs just saw. Yeah. And that's probably what, I mean, granted, it was a little more in your face this time around because it was the entire halftime show. But, I mean, it was free. I mean, you got to watch free entertainment. And also, I would like to say, you could have changed the channel. The Puppy Bowl, I believe, was on. You could have gone over to the Puppy Bowl, watched some puppies play around.
No one's forcing you to watch anything.
Come on. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyways, that great halftime show.
Solid.
In the nines.
Very good.
Definitely an all-time show.
And I will say they're going to be in Tampa next year, so they won't be able to really what are they going to do? Like pirate? They're going to do like a Gasparilla themed halftime show?
That would be kind of, there's got to be some type of like pirate, like an ode to pirates somewhere.
I don't know. I got a bad feeling it's going to be like Tim McGraw. I don't know. It'll
seems be like the Plant City Strawberry Fest.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's just a weird feeling. That's where they're going to go. It's just like some bumpkin.
Twangy.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, halftime shows.
Tampa.
We'll
we
talk
can do
about
better,
that.
I think.
Tampa will do something. But I already threw my guess in. Lil Nas X, if he's still relevant, it's going to be Lil Nas X and Nas.
That would be sick.
It would be pretty crazy. But it has nothing to do with Tampa, so I would imagine Tampa's probably going to botch this. So anyway, moving out of the halftime show and into, again, a more relaxed, laid-back Patrick Mahomes, who clearly had his face into the TV for the whole halftime show. And he just came out guns a-blazing. Well, I guess he actually waited a quarter to do that. But what happened in the third quarter, San Francisco, it was 10-10 coming out of halftime. San Francisco goes up 20-10 at the end of the third quarter, and it's looking like their defense was crushing them all game. My Super Bowl MVP pick, all right, I was watching them every play. Nick Bosa, which, by the way, if you listen to the first podcast, I call him Joey. They're like the exact same dude.
And my bad, I should have caught that too because I knew about Joey's whole holdout with the Chargers.
Yeah.
But like you said, I think the football gods will give us this one because they are literally like the same person.
Dude, they're insane. And if they ever play on the same team, rest in peace anybody else who they're playing against. But they're both really good. And for a rookie season for Nick Bosa to have what he had, and he made some impact plays in this game. He had tipped a couple passes. He had a strip sack, I believe, at one point. He didn't get the ball, but he played very well. And honestly,
he was a force to be reckoned with, and it was noticed.
For sure. It was going to, leading up into this fourth quarter, which we're going to get into, up until this point of the game, like I was trying to decide because I thought the 49ers had it. I was like, they found a way to slow down the Chiefs. Unbelievable. I can't believe what I'm watching.
Me too.
Who, in my head, I was like, who is going to win MVP? Because Garoppolo at that point wasn't doing anything great. Mostert had a touchdoand, but it wasn't really, like nothing really. It wasn't he didn't have a lot of yards or anything. So I was like, who was even going to get MVP? I was like, there's a chance for my boy Nick Bosa.
You were texting in the chunk chat that we have.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't deny that at all.
I was like, I
think Justin got it. Yeah.
Every time he did something, I was like, let's go. This is my guy.
my guy.
Then we got into the fourth quarter, and it was the win probability for the San Francisco 49ers about halfway through the fourth quarter, 95.3%. That was their win probability, the chance that they were going to win the game, 95.3%. And then something happened. I was going to say the Chiefs, but the Patrick Mahomes, they went on this crazy. It was a drive that took less than a minute. It looked like they were just a couple passes down the field.
Chiefs again.
Yeah, and then you're like, okay, the game kind of shifted right there. It was like there was something that could be done. You're like, okay, I could see this ending poorly for the 49ers, but the defense was good all game. Or it was just one drive. Maybe this time around, the 49ers will put a nice drive together, start running the ball, and they didn't run the ball when they got the ball back. Or they ran it like once or twice, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
They were running it so well.
Had the lead. You could
I know.
It doesn't make sense.
Especially with under 6 minutes to go, right? You run the ball, you try to run at least some clock. For some reason, Shanahan, and I put it on Shanahan, but it's because it's the head coach. You have to do that. But I'm sure it's the coaching staff its entirety, decided this was the time to let Garoppolo frolic and play a little more.
Exactly. And we're having the same narrative. Obviously, I mean, we all watch the same game.
Yeah.
And I want to let you finish, but what you're about to say is what everyone's saying. They didn't trust him, and then it's like they overcompensated. Now go work your magic.
Well, I
it
see
wasn't really the time for that.
But you know what? You know what's funny is if it happened the other way and they just ran it 3 times and then punted, it would be like, you know what I mean? They'd be like, why didn't they throw it with Garoppolo?
We can nitpick everything.
It's tough, and I see the merit in trying, because you know what? They're probably not expecting it, even though it didn't work out. If Garoppolo completes a couple of those passes, you're like, okay, you know, because it was I guess odds are you have a better shot at completing a couple passes when they're all expecting you to run the clock. It's just if you don't complete the pass.
We're not NFL coaches.
Yeah, if you don't complete the pass, the clock stops for free for the Chiefs. You know what I mean? So it's just like you're only kind of playing into their chances, and that's exactly what happened. So it's tough to blame a coach. It's tough to blame a quarterback. It's just they could have done more, again, like we said, at the end of the first half and just throughout the game to kind of get the flow going and maybe run a little more clock. But once the Chiefs got going at the end of the game, it seemed like when they scored the touchdown, they were still losing. Even when the 49ers got the ball back after that first touchdown, you're like, if they don't do it here, the game's over. Like, it was so weird. But, yeah.
Well, the big turnaround, there's always, and I say this every year, I'm watching the Super Bowl, there's always that play, like the David Tyree.
Oh, God, yeah.
Helmet catch, and then the Julian Edelman, the like fingertip. He has like 5 Atlanta Falcons around him. There's always that catch. It was 3rd and 15, and Mahomes heaved it to Tyreek Hill. He finally got open. That's when it was like, we're in.
Yeah,
I mean, it's happening. That was the play. And then, as you were saying, the 49ers kind of just couldn't get it done. And then, I don't know if we want to creep closer and closer to the end of the game.
Oh, yeah. We're at the end of the game now.
Yeah. So, the biggest thing was, it was that Tyreek Hill huge. So, it was like 3rd and 15, like I said, on their own 35. And then they got down to like the 20.
We got wide open. It wasn't even close.
Wide open. Yeah. He split it. Oh, my God. That was crazy. And then the Jimmy G, they trusted him to let's go deep. We have to go deep. They were down 4. They would have scored that touchdown to Emmanuel Sanders.
Oh my God!
Those were the 2 plays, in my opinion, that changed the entire game. It would have been a whole different narrative if he had hit that pass, because Emmanuel Sanders got open.
Oh, he was wide open. Yeah. He did lead him a little too far.
Into the end zone. He was literally a catch and then 2 steps into the end zone.
Yeah,
it was that deep of a throw.
It was. He saw it there, and it was. I don't know. It wasn't a great throw. I didn't see the whole route. I don't know if he could have ran faster, but I didn't see how that was. But it again, like you said, had they connected, probably. I still can't say they would have won just based off of how the Chiefs are going.
No, yeah,
it's
I
tough.
wouldn't say that either,
but it definitely would have changed the game.
Yeah, you give them the ball back with like a minute 40 left, or minute like 30 left, or something like that. It was It was pretty like we're getting very close to the end of it, and then I mean, it's like there was like chitter. I always think of like where I am when the game's happening, like what other people are doing. Like we kind of got pretty away from the game for a second, talking about different things at the Super Bowl party.
Yeah,
and of course, keeping an eye on the game and not taking our eyes off it really at all. But then, like when it was 20-10 with 7 minutes left, honestly, I was like, I feel for Andy Reid. I'm not taking the Chiefs out at all, but I'm like, a miracle or whatever, they need to do what they usually do, and I don't know if they're going to do it this time because Mahomes doesn't look himself. But it just like happened so fast, like we talked about, like in the Chiefs game versus the Texans. How it just boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
21 points, just like that.
Yeah, you look away and you come back, and it's a different game for sure. And that's how the Chiefs do it, and that's how they did it all year. And, well, not necessarily. That's how they did it all playoffs, I should say. All year, they were just beating ass. But in the playoffs, it's like they just didn't want to play in the beginning of the game. They're like, we'll get there, They just coasted, and then they're like, okay, we should probably
we'll make it happen.
Yeah, we should probably start winning this game, huh? and then they did it.
Yeah.
So
I want to ask you real quick before we go into the end of the game, like now, post game, Kyle Shanahan blowing the lead. So he was the offensive coordinator for the Falcons.
yeah,
Obviously, that's totally different. He's on a coaching staff.
right.
But now is the narrative every time, because I mean, these two teams could definitely possibly be in the Super Bowl again. I mean,
Yeah.
they're 15-4 both. I mean, they're amazing teams. Let's say he gets the next time the 49ers are in the playoffs and then, possibly the Super Bowl. Is that going to be the big storyline? Is he like, quote unquote, a choke artist now?
Yeah.
I don't say that. That's just what I'm seeing. I got to say what the chatter is that he chokes.
Yeah, I see that too, but it's just, I think he's just been very unfortunate. It's tough for one coach to just be he's not on the field.
Change the whole.
He's not, he's not on the field. He's just telling them, he's calling the plays. If the plays don't work, I mean, it's not always just the coach's fault. I mean, there's still another
defense is good,
the defense is out there. They're playing it. They might have seen something. Maybe he goes in the offseason and finds another bag of tricks to add to the thing to change the late game situations. But like you said, the 49ers aren't going to disappear like they did last time. But when last time they made it to the Super Bowl.
No way.
They're going to be around a little while. Their defense is young and good. And what's funny is there were probably more up close shots of Richard Sherman this game than I think I'd seen in years. It seemed like every other play, every time he got burned, they were like, we must see his face right now.
Seriously, and he did get burnt.
He did.
He really got burnt twice bad.
Yes, and they wasted no
More
time.
More than twice. I'm just saying twice when it really counted.
Yes, and you could see it on his face where he's like, yeah, okay, I think I kind of screwed that one up. But yeah, Chiefs won 31-20. The last 6 minutes of the game were just bang, bang, bang. 3 Chiefs touchdowns that just I mean, it was over at that point. The Chiefs did go up 24-10, and when the 49ers got the ball, you're like, okay, this is it. And then they didn't do it. And then obviously they did have their timeout still. So they could theoretically had gotten it back if Damian Williams didn't go on a 38-yard touchdown run.
The worst nail in the coffin.
Yeah,
for 49ers fans.
Literally 13-second drive, 2 plays, bang, touchdown. We'll see you later. And then at that point, definitely it was over. So, yeah, that's how it plays out. That's how the Chiefs did it, like we said, all playoffs. So that being said, moving forward, obviously Patrick Mahomes winds up winning the Super Bowl MVP. Like you all said, we said that on the podcast for sure. If the Chiefs won, it was going to be Mahomes. Statistically, though, there were probably some arguments that Damian Williams could have gotten it based off of, Mahomes didn't have the perfect game up until the fourth quarter, but he was the man who orchestrated the last 3 drives anyway. So you can't not give it to Patrick Mahomes. He's just too good, and he was the reigning MVP, which we haven't even mentioned. Lamar Jackson, by the way, is the MVP of the season.
Yes, he is.
But amongst other awards that were given away, the awards thing just kind of happens, and like the Super Bowl happens, and then the season's over, and you're just like, here.
Yeah, we need a little bit more separation.
Yeah, it's a little tough. I feel like I always thought that the awards should come not immediately after the season, but a little more before the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Sure. Yeah. In like high school sports, you have a banquet. It's just like we don't need to reinvent the wheel, and I'm not trying to compare high school athletics to a Super Bowl or to an NFL season, but you usually have it way after you look at the MVP of the season because you're able to look back on things a little bit more.
Yeah.
So either have it way before the Super Bowl or a little bit after, like 2 weeks or maybe the following week, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever, maybe.
It's all good. I mean, listen, Patrick Mahomes, at the end of the day, is a really good quarterback, and apparently he is saying a really good quarterback is such like the downplay of the century. I would rank him, obviously. I know Lamar Jackson just won MVP, but Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league right now. Is there really a question for that?
I don't think there's a question. No question. Lamar had an awesome season. Patrick Mahomes had an awesome season this year and last year, and he got the Super Bowl ring. He's the best. A lot of people, like on ESPN, are calling him the best football player to ever live. So sorry, Jim Brown.
Yeah, see, listen, I
don't know if I'm going to go there. He's young.
I heard people saying he was the best quarterback ever already, and I'm like, look, he had obviously one of the most unbelievable seasons last year. You can't. You got to let the whole season or the whole career play out, or at least like 10 years. You know what I mean? Like, it just seems a bit ridiculous to just say he's the best of all time.
We just always, and I love conversations and I love different takes, and that's what makes Twitter, and I'm majoring in communications, man. I love like people hearing people's different opinions, but there are some that it's like, why I say that is like, there's always going to be narratives, but that is a little like, you could talk, but it doesn't really mean anything.
It's
like,
strong. It's hard. I mean, right now it's obviously hot off the presses. Everybody wants to say it's not really the hottest take right now. Like it's a pretty. A lot of people are saying it, and
it's not like unique.
No, it's not. But it also could be the truth. But I'm still not.
I mean, he's amazing.
I won't
confirm it. He's
gonna
get the highest. He's gonna get the biggest contract ever. He's possibly gonna make close to $40 million a year.
Yeah,
which like Russell Wilson is making like 33, 34, 35, something like that a year. That's like the biggest right now. Well, obviously is set to get that, and Romo is going to get like the biggest broadcast contract ever too.
Well, he deserves that. All right,
he deserves it. Yeah,
Romo's
both
awesome.
of them. Both of them, awesome.
Yes.
I love it. So great for the game of football. So great for anybody who even likes sports. Have been so entertaining, both of them.
Okay, Super Bowl's over. We're done with it. Let's move it aside. The actual football game, I should say.
Yes.
We had a bet on who would be the first commercial in the game after kickoff, and none of us were correct.
Not even close.
And to be fair, what wound up being the first thing didn't drop a trailer until after our podcast, so it kind of came out of nowhere. All right, so
it did.
I didn't sit. I don't remember who was the next one, but what actually wound up winning was Fast 9, which, my goodness, they just keep making these movies. We did. What did we wind up saying? I don't even remember.
So I said Budweiser, like a Budweiser brand.
Yes,
yes. Like they're releasing a new product,
which they had a commercial. Obviously,
from the seltzer. Yeah, they did. I have them up right now.
Yeah, Blake said it was going to be specifically Budweiser seltzer, which they did have a commercial. Doritos.
First, yeah.
I said Doritos. JJ said Facebook. We all had commercials. Like, we all said a brand that did have a commercial. They just wasn't the first one.
Yeah.
This year, though, I mean, the Super Bowl commercials, they were all right. They were a lot more like uplifting or like, motivational, like, a lot of heartwarming stuff.
Better than they've been. Is that safe to say?
Yeah.
And I love advertising. I work at an advertising agency for 2 years.
Yeah.
And you work in radio, like adding advertising and communicating to people is awesome. And so I don't want to like say, oh, commercials sucked, because obviously they're entertaining, but they haven't been like incredible the past couple years.
Yeah.
And this year I like them. Like,
yeah, there were some really good ones.
That stood out.
Of course I watched them all. I didn't get the pen and paper out and like write down the ones I really liked. So I do what everybody does and Google searches what had happened, and then I'm like, oh yeah, that one.
Yeah, I have to get reminded about it.
Yeah, there were a couple good ones. Obviously, there's a lot of people tweeting, and I got texts about the Planters baby nut, the baby peanut, and I was like, look, stop trying to make baby things happen. All right, it's Baby Yoda or it's nobody. I think
it's nobody.
I think this was a quick response to Baby Yoda. They're like, listen, babies are hot right now, man. They're really cool. Everybody's got to have a baby logo. Baby peanut or baby nut, I think that's what they were calling it. So
baby nut, which people were on a different note were freaking out about.
Yeah,
on Twitter.
So I mean that was a pretty funny one. There were a lot more. The Groundhog Day one from Jeep, though, that was pretty sweet. I'm a big fan of the movie.
Really good
movie Groundhog Day. Did you have any ones that stood out for you?
Yeah, so I have a favorite. And I won't say that yet, but that Jason Momoa one, Rocket Mortgage.
Yeah,
he was like, I want to shed my skin or like be my true self.
And he's just like a twig.
He's
like
taking things off.
Takes all his muscles
hilarious. That was good. That the Smot Pock with
Krasinski.
John Krasinski, and whatever, Chris Evans. That was hilarious. But my other favorite, that Loretta one was sad.
Which one?
The Loretta one, the Google remembering. Like, the guy has Alzheimer's, and that was like sad. I'm looking at a quick little list because I needed a refresher. But my favorite was Bud Light Seltzer. That was
the Post Malone,
the Post Malone's brain.
Yeah,
I had seen those before because they wanted like America to choose, and I don't usually like to do that, but it's like kind of depends what mood I'm in. Sometimes I don't watch them before. Sometimes I do if I just want to like really analyze and see.
Yeah.
But not only did I love the commercial, I want to say that on air in this podcast that I definitely love Bud Light Seltzer.
Oh, all right.
I give it the mark of approval is what I was trying to say.
Okay. Are we getting paid for this? I believe this is.
We are not.
We're going to send an invoice. We should send an invoice probably.
Posty can. His next tattoo could my next tattoo could be on him. Maybe.
Perfect. I love it. Yeah. No,
so it was good.
Yeah, that was a good one. There were obviously a lot of good ones. And we're not going to sit here and go down all of them, but like you said,
a couple more that I'm
there. The Hummer's coming back, all electric Hummer. That kind of blew me away. I saw that commercial and I was like, what the hell am I watching? LeBron James. And then at the end it said Hummer and I was like, oh snap, we're back. I don't know why. The Hummer just a fascinating vehicle to me, so I'm always a big fan.
It is fascinating. It's like we're ready for straight up the zombie apocalypse.
Yes, and this time electric, which probably is not conducive for a zombie apocalypse. Where are you going to charge it?
Right.
But yeah, I mean, the commercials were pretty good. There were a lot of good ones, and we could sit here all day. Mine was a big fan. Like there's the Walmart one where they do a lot of movie tie-ins. I've always been a big fan of the movie tie-in ones. So, and then the Mountain Dew did the Shining as well.
Yeah, with Bryan Cranston. That was awesome. Oh, and then Charlie Day had a bunch, which I can't even remember what
he was doing.
Charlie Day was doing like Tide.
He was doing Tide, but he was doing it like
had to get
every commercial break. He was like, "Is it later yet?"
Yeah,
like
he had the stain.
Oh, that was pretty funny though.
That was good. I'm a big Charlie Day fan, so that was like that.
I thought that was cool how they tied it in with all the even other brands throughout the entire Super Bowl, just to have them pop up and kind of be like a running joke. So
I mean, honestly, they were pretty good. And dude, no Clydesdales.
That bothered me.
That.
I lost sleep.
I thought
that
it was
night.
every year. I thought it was literally every year they have a Clydesdale.
I needed a good, wholesome Clydesdale commercial, and I didn't get it. I had to go to YouTube that night, look up a Clydesdale video.
The Best Buds one is
no, not even the commercials, just Clydesdales trotting along on a street down like a cobblestone road. I needed that. So that was what I was missing in the Super Bowl commercials. But all in all, obviously another great year of Super Bowl commercials. And the Super Bowl, I will say, overall, it was a pretty good game. When you go into the fourth quarter with another team leading and the table shifts, it made it more enjoyable to watch this time around for the Chiefs doing it than when it happened with the Texans, because it happened earlier in the game and I checked out at like halftime. I was like, it's over.
Yeah, we're like,
Chiefs won.
Now. Yeah.
This was like when the 49ers were up, you were like, it could still happen. I'm still going to pay attention to this game. And at no point did you check out until like maybe like the last minute.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Even then, I mean, it's like,
You never know. But yeah, that would have been nuts.
the 11 points. I guess you're right. The last minute, you could check out then.
Yeah.
I forgot about that last touchdown. For sure. No, I totally agree with you. It was entertaining the whole way, and that's what I wanted. It wasn't like the high scoring game.
No.
And that just comes with it being the Super Bowl and different things, and 49ers not really relying on what they did all season. And
yeah. Absolutely.
Just weird things happen in the Super Bowl.
So we did do the odd Super Bowl 54 prop bets at the end of the last podcast.
I'm glad we did that.
So we should kind of run them down and what we know. I guess I don't know if we have the complete answer for all of these, but I will say we did the color of the liquid, the Gatorade that was poured on the game-winning coach. Andy Reid got the orange Gatorade at the end of the game. Did you see that?
Mm-hmm. I did, and it's not confirmed that wasn't orange soda.
Oh, it could be. So they're saying it could be soda.
No, I'm kidding. That's totally a joke.
Imagine they're just chugging that on the sideline in the middle of a football game.
Just because it's Andy Reid and he's the guy's guy. And,
oh man.
No, you got it right.
So Blake and I got it. You guys said the multiple category, which lime green, or yellow. Yeah, that's a pretty big blanket there. But yeah, it wound up being orange, so we got that. Will Jennifer Lopez and Shakira kiss? Despite coming very close, they did not. Which I believe you were the only one that just said, why not?
I said, why not? Yeah. Yes, I had no... I wouldn't even bet a dime on that.
No.
Like, whatever, just to be different.
Yeah, I don't see why not. Will an Epstein didn't kill himself sign be shown to the podcast? I did not see any.
No.
So I'm gonna go with that didn't happen. I don't think we saw that anywhere. This is the one that's causing a little controversy, not because of the name of the person, but because of the actual number that happened. Over under 13.5 total Trump tweets on the day of the Super Bowl. I went to his Twitter page. I counted 9, I believe. Or no, it was like 8 or 9.
You counted 9.
Tangible, actual tweets came from his account. However, which would be the under, it would be the over if we are counting retweets because he retweeted a lot of stuff. All right, so he retweeted easily another 5 or 6 items on the day of the Super Bowl. So it really comes down to, do you consider a retweet a tweet?
I would say the general public would say no, needs to be a Trump tweet from Donald Trump. He's not a normal person because he tweets all the time.
Yeah.
And it's actually 10 tweets because he sent one and then deleted it.
True.
So that's 10 tweets.
You're
and
right.
How many others did he tweet and then delete? I don't know.
Who knows?
But this is not a political podcast.
Yeah.
I'm just getting straight to the point that he tweets so much and retweets so much that I think a retweet should be either equal 2 or 3 tweets. But again, we don't have to get into semantics. This is all BS.
I mean, if I was a guy, I would say to me, the fact that you're hitting the retweet button counts as a tweet to me. I think so. But if
it's your podcast, man.
Yeah, hey, man, listen.
I'm with it.
I'm just saying, all right, listen. Kansas City Chiefs are straight out of Kansas, and I think this hit the over if I'm a betting man. And this podcast, we won. We hit the over.
We won.
Because of the retweets. Will both teams combined score 76-plus points to break the Super Bowl record for most points scored in the Super Bowl? It was 10-10 at halftime. We weren't going to get anywhere close unless somehow the 49ers decided they wanted to tack on another 20, 30, 40 points at the end of the game. But obviously you and Blake said yes. Blake had to say yes based off of his score.
Yeah,
Blake was looking for 90 points, I think. Pretty close to 90 points.
49, 42.
Yeah, it wasn't nearly that. If it was, I would have been so happy though. It would have been a crazy game.
Yeah, it would have been amazing.
But yeah, definitely the under on that. JJ and I hit that. How many Super Bowl commercials included a dog? I did see a few, but the over-under was 3.5, so there had to be 4. I don't know that we got there.
I don't know.
I don't recall seeing
4.
I don't recall seeing 4.
I was watching Puppy Bowl.
That's the thing. I was like, I didn't count
all before, so I was not puppied out, but I saw a lot of puppies.
We all said over anyway. Let's just say it's a wash. All right, nobody.
It's a wash.
It is what it was. We're all correct. I think somewhere, if we dig deep enough, there was a dog behind the camera, and we did obviously do the bonus bet, which was the pick in the commercials, first commercial of the game, which neither of us got. But apparently they're making another Fast and the Furious movie, and Han's not dead anymore.
Han's not dead.
What the hell?
I love the Fast and Furious series, so I'm stoked.
Oh, dude, listen, they're fun watches. Like I don't have any problem watching.
I just never would have bet that as the number one.
I will say
for Super Bowl commercial.
This isn't.
I can't remember what the second one was.
This isn't a theme park podcast right now, but I will say Fast and the Furious ride at Universal, one of the worst rides. One of the worst rides I've ever ridden in my life.
That breaks my heart.
I don't know if you've ridden it before.
I have not ridden it.
It's literal trash.
In a couple years.
It's trash. It's what's the coolest part is when you walk off, there's cars like from the movie. Like
the coolest part's when you get off the ride. That's fantastic.
You go through it all, you ride the ride, you get past that, and then on the way out, there's like a standee of like a wax Vin Diesel and then a bunch of cool cars. So really, ride the ride so you can look at the cars. That's pretty much it. But the ride is just garbage. It's a bunch of people on like a party bus, and you're really just watching a movie. Like imagine 2 movie screens on either side, and the seats are shaking. It's man.
Oh my God. It's like Shrek 4D in Universal.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Oh boy.
I'd rather ride that. But anyway, that's not what this is about. It was about Super Bowl 54. That was the recap. Obviously, if you watched the game, you know by now who won, and that was our thoughts on it. Thank you for listening. You can follow us at The Chunk Pod on Twitter, Instagram, literally any other social media that you can find. You can email us, thechunkpod@gmail. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but you can send us any sort of notes, weird photos. One of those weird forward chains, the email chains. We're down for it. We'll keep it that chain going. You want to give a plug to your social media, David? I mean, listen, this is only your second podcast, so go ahead, man.
And I appreciate it, man. And I didn't get to mention it last time because we were stuck. I'm not going to bring up the Kobe deal. All I'm saying, still R.I.P. Kobe. But it was such a weird. Really, what I wanted to say the first time we got together on a podcast was we've been trying to do this for a while. We both had different podcasts, and you were such a kind of honestly inspired me to start my podcast that no longer is really in existence now.
Hey man, it's possible.
It's definitely possible. Oh, it's not dead. I'm definitely going to do more like, hey, I'm on this for the long haul, but, side stuff and whatnot. But you really did inspire me to buy a mic, to even know how to host the podcast online. So I do appreciate it. So yeah, you guys can follow me at Chinsky Runs. That's Chin Sky Runs.
Ooh, look at this. This is something you've done that before.
Not until I got married.
Oh.
Literally not until I got married 3 years ago. I never broke. So my last name's Tomchinsky.
Yeah.
You know. I never broke it down to those 3 little words: Tom, Chin, and Sky. I would spell it out, all 10 letters, and then Brooke, my wife.
That's the way to break it down.
She lived 24 years at that point with a different last name. Then when she got it, she kind of like broke it down. I go, geez, you were way smarter than me.
She's instantly like, I got to do something with this last name.
This is not happening. I'm not spelling 10 letters out.
Yeah. That's funny.
Her maiden name's long too, but a long last name. But yeah, Chinsky Runs. You can hit me up on there, and obviously follow the chunk, please. You hear my voice as much as Justin allows it to be on here.
Well, this is the last one, so you're done. No, I'm kidding. I'm at Justin Rob Doyle if you want to find me on the old socials. You can talk smack, talk fantasy football, which I'm missing right now. Obviously, the season's now officially over. There's nothing left of football. Well, unless you're an XFL fan. Which I'm not sure. I'm not sure we're going to do an XFL podcast, but
who knows?
If it gets a little crazy, who knows? We might dive into it. But we appreciate
Go Vipers. Go
the
Tampa
Vipers.
Bay Vipers.
Yes, Tampa Bay Vipers got to lock it down for old TB, and Aaron Murray, who I believe is.
Oh, that's right. He is.
Yeah, Aaron Murray's the quarterback.
Yeah.
So shout outs to him, and best of luck to the Vipers and all those other 7 XFL teams? I think 8 total.
Yep. 8 total, yeah.
All right, best of luck to him and Vince McMahon and and He Hate Me, all those other players who probably are too old to play in this XFL. So, thanks for listening. It's the Chunk Podcast. David, thanks for jumping on, man. And we'll be back. Obviously, we're going to try to do once a week. I want to do something next week. I'm recording something with a friend of mine. He's a comedian, and I want to bring him on. His name is Mr. Showtime David Scott. We're doing this thing called Chunk Chats. All right, Very cool. I'm spitballing. Just literally going to be a random interview podcast. But if you're following the Chunk on any podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts, you'll get it. It'll all be on this channel, and you can decide to skip. You can decide to listen to other ones. Obviously, it's all going to be all over the place, but that's what you're getting when you're with the Chunk. You're just going to get a chunk of nonsense, and it's going to keep coming at you. Keep listening. I'm going to play this outro. We appreciate you listening. David, you have yourself a fantastic day and a fantastic week. We'll be back.
Well, my friend. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Catch you guys later. It's the Chunk Podcast.